Good morning, everybody. I am Kelli Stair, Synergy Life Design, and I wanted to share a little bit about how I got here. 5 years ago, 2019, I started this business, and this is the first time I've ever talked to anyone about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was a teacher for 15 years. I decided that I was a little burned out with the whole teaching thing, and I wanted to do something different. I wanted to help other teachers. I wanted to, do all this stuff, and I was really excited about it. I went through a coaching program. It was great. I was like, all right, yes, this is what I want to do. I want to coach teachers and help them rejuvenate and build back their energy and all this good stuff. And then I was like, I don't know how to run a business. I don't know anything about business, and I had this huge imposter syndrome that I just could not do it. I had all these great ideas. I've built curriculum for 15 years, so I've got all that set. But as far as it was going as building a business, doing business things, no. And I just couldn't get past that one. So eventually I shifted and started a business with my husband, who has some business background. And so we've been working together in a business for 5 years. Well, now I feel like I know how to do a business, right? I have that confidence and I'm ready. So this is my business idea, and I'm kind of presenting it as something that has been a dream for a few years, and I'm really excited to hear some feedback about it. Okay, so all I started with before was a mission, and my mission was to help teachers stay in the profession. That was it. I just wanted to help them not burn out, because so many of my fellow colleagues were just burning out left and right, and they couldn't stay in the job, or they were staying and it was really bad for them, for kids, it was just not going well. And so that was my mission. I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't know what I wanted it to look like. And so it took a long time to kind of get those ideas down, but I feel like I'm there now. Because I was focused on teachers.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
You have to talk louder.
Sure thing. Because I was focused on teachers, is that better?
I think the camera likes it better.
Okay. Because I was so focused on teachers, I didn't realize that not all teachers were burning out in the same way, right? And so just teachers was way too big, and I needed to narrow it down a little bit. And so I changed my mission, and I wanted to focus on the idea of introvert teachers. Okay, this idea of teachers who were very introverted, who did not rejuvenate their energy by being around other people, but instead needed that private, alone time to recharge. That was my new goal, because I'm an introvert myself. I know I seem very positive and outgoing and all of those things that extroverts seem, but 5 minutes after this presentation, I'll be like, I need a break. And so I wanted to help those teachers. And I realized that that's a very small number of teachers. And so I wanted to kind of open it up a little bit, because there are introverts who are nurses, and there are introverts who are all different kinds of caregivers. And the idea of caregiving is that you are using a whole lot of your energy to take care of other people. And when you do that, if you can't recharge your energy by being around other people, you are in desperate straits. You're heading for burnout. And so that's what I wanted to shift my mission and focus on. So keeping it away from just teachers and really focusing on caregivers, professional and personal caregivers, because there are a lot of caregiving professions, but then there are also people who are just caregivers as their person, right? They are stay-at-home parents, or they are taking care of elderly or sick family members, and they are using that energy and just going right through it. And so I wanted to help those people be able to recharge, rejuvenate, and bring it back. My goal is to create to share a variety of energy management strategies. Lots and lots of things. If you've ever had anybody tell you how to work out, and they tell you these 3 things you have to do, and you're like, I hate those 3 things. Are you going to work out? No. No, you're not. And so I wanted to make it a big variety of things. Lots of little ways to manage your energy, but all tied together. That way you can pick and choose the strategies that work for you, and the ones that don't, you say, that's okay, gave it a shot, that's not mine, I'm gonna focus on this one. The other thing for introverts is that for introvert caregivers is that because they are so invested in other people and using their energy for other people, they don't have a lot of time for themselves. They don't make a lot of time for themselves. And so it needs to be small and easily accessible chunks. I can't say, hey, I've got this way to help you with your energy. It's only gonna take 2 or 3 hours a day. You'll be fine. No, because nobody's gonna start, right? Like I don't have 2 or 3 hours a day. 10 minutes. 10 minutes a day, get you started, there you go. And the great thing about being an introvert, which I know from personal experience, once you carve out that time for yourself, that time starts to get bigger and bigger because you feel really good about that time that you're spending. But it's gotta start off small. So that was my goal. Kind of the big overarching ideas. I mean, it's all about energy management strategies, but I've got this energy bucket metaphor, right? You've got this bucket full of energy. It fills up every morning when you wake up, and then you use it throughout the day. Make sense? Mm-hmm. The fill and the flow, super easy. Fill, energy in. Flow, energy out. But there are pieces in the middle that we don't necessarily think about, and they're things that we can very easily control. We've got a filter that can filter that energy. So it's the patterns of behavior, the thought patterns that we have that help us either fill that energy up or clear out some of the gunk that gets in the way of being able to use our energy. The flex, this is just kind of like how easy is it for the bucket to get bigger, smaller as you need it, right? And how strong is it so that if you do need more energy, you don't start having leaks in your energy bucket. So it's all about perseverance, it's about grit, it's about resilience. That's the flex part. And then the flavor of your energy is just the quality, okay? Anybody who's drank too much coffee in the morning knows that there's a difference between good quality energy and not so good quality energy as far as like focusing and being able to do things. I have been guilty of that, and wow, does it make for a crazy day. So that's the flavor of the energy. And then like I said, the flow is all the ways that you use or sometimes lose because you have drains going on your energy. All right, so after lots and lots of ways of thinking about how to help people, I finally talked to a coach and got my own head straight. If you do not have a business coach, find a business coach. They are amazing. But all the things that I was trying to do, I was actually putting myself in a position to drain my energy. And she's like, the reason you're not doing it, the reason you're not stepping into that next phase is because you are looking to burn yourself out. That's the inevitable end. I'm like, oh my goodness, you're right. So it can't just be something that works for everybody else, caregiver mentality, give my energy to everybody else. It's gotta work for me. So I finally figured a way that I can share this information, that I can be a part of people's lives, and that I can help them with these energy management strategies without burning myself out. Because I don't want to be a hypocrite. I want to actually walk the walk. So the format is a monthly membership. So it's all online. It's a monthly membership that you join. It's got curriculum-based weekly topics, every one going back to one of those 5 parts of the energy bucket, and all kinds of different ways, using positive psychology, using resilience training, using grit training. I have a lot of background knowledge in psychology and wellness coaching. So I've got that part dialed in. We're working it as introvert-friendly journals. And so you get a journal at the beginning of the week, and it has 7 days worth of weekly activities in it.
Wow.
And so you get a little chunk every day, little tiny bits, and then that all focuses together into a 1-week reflection. And you go, oh, there, that's how I can use this energy strategy. There's also a weekly group coaching call. So every Monday night we'll get together and we'll share what we've got, and we'll do some coaching and get through any challenges, any struggles that people are having. And then there's some deep practice extras. I got some meditations in there, workshops that get recorded, interviews, stuff like that. So that's kind of the basis of it. Oh, I'm gonna wrap up right there and then do that as the last question, because everybody always asks, how can I help? What I'm really looking for, I'm excited about this. I've waited for 5 years to use all of this knowledge that I've collected over the last 15 to 20 years. Much of my teaching was all about, helping kids deal with their own kind of mental wellness. As an English teacher, I got to read a lot of journals and see a lot of things, and so I hey, we take some steps to do that. So I've got lots of background experience in the kind of practical side of it, and I'm really excited about the business side that I'm getting started. So that's what I'm hoping to do, start this business.
So do you have like a pilot group that you've run through the program yet, or?
So I actually am, I have a beta group that's starting on Monday.
Oh, you do?
So,
Oh,
and I'm
fantastic.
inviting anyone to either join if you feel like it's a good fit for you, or share it with people if that you know, you're like, oh my gosh, I know a person that this would really, really help out. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Have you considered recording them and offering, like, people can just get the recordings and kind of take yourself out of the weekly kind of flow of it?
So I did, so I want to have some connection. Like, I feel like I've got a lot of good energy to share with people, and it just doesn't come across quite as well if you're like just answering questions like via email or whatever. So I do want to have some going out there, but I mean, 1 hour a week is not that big of a people commitment.
You might think about, actually on that thought, you might think about recording your group meetings for people who can't come to the group.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
Podia, I use Podia for our membership program.
That's-
And you can put all those recordings on Podia. They're easy to access, and
Should I just do this?
yeah, it's really great. It's a great membership website. I really like it.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw that, so that's
Yeah.
what I was saying. So what about charging? Have you thought about what you're gonna charge? Or?
So after the beta membership, I was gonna have like a big survey and see what it was. I was thinking something around $29 a month. I wanted to keep it very affordable and very easy for people to say yes. And I know that a lot of people will say, you've got to charge more, you've got to charge more, you've got to charge more. I'm like, you know what? I would love to have, 500 people in the group. Like, that would be fantastic. And everybody would get the same thing. I don't want it to be, I've looked at a lot of groups and memberships, and it feels like you have to, they charge it's $150 a month, and that feels like too much to me. That feels like,
We'll start low and build it up.
Well, then, also that you could have your monthly membership, and then there can be an upgrade to maybe something else that's maybe you haven't developed yet. And that can be a VIP.
An add-in or something.
Or maybe extra time coaching directly with you, maybe a 30-minute or something like that you can add on, so you don't have to, the $29, I think that's fair. That's not your main thing, but you can develop into something bigger. Or is this just locally, or are you doing this nationally?
It's
Anybody's
it's not done in person or anything like that.
Yeah, so it's all online, so it can be, and that was kind of my thought, that once I get more members and those group coaching sessions start to be like, ooh, there's a lot of people here, then I would just have like an upgrade, so that they would get a separate group coaching session that was smaller and more intimate.
And then you'll probably need to do more recording stuff and everything. But I do have a question regarding an introvert, because is this just for introverts, and how do you know if you're an introvert?
Oh, that's a great question. So, so introverts have a tendency to recharge privately. There are a lot of people that do not realize they're introverts until something happens that causes them to either miss work or pandemic, and they're stuck staying home, and they realize, oh my goodness, I love this quiet time. And so it is not just for introverts, it's for anybody who is looking to manage their energy. It is designed for introverts, and by that I mean, so like everything is recorded, everything is set up so that you could do it completely on your own and never have to talk to another human being if you did not want to. That's like designing for introverts. But there are also opportunities. So like you can go to the group coaching, or you can just watch the recorded video. You can, share, or you can just sit back and never turn your camera on, and that's fine. So I just wanted to make sure that.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's okay.
There's no long-term commitment. You just go month to month.
Month to month, as long as you want to. I got one here and then one here.
So I'm an introvert.
So you feel
no
me?
doubt about it. Have you thought about stopping at introvert and not saying teacher or caretaker or whatever? Because I think anyone could benefit that's an introvert program.
Yes.
That would be my recommendation.
Gotcha. And I'd thought about it. It opens it up a lot more.
Right.
And that's always a good thing. And I don't think that anyone who wasn't a caregiver wouldn't find a lot of value. But I wanted to focus specifically on that caregiver mentality. And it's the idea that my energy belongs to other people, and that I need to share it with other people. And it almost becomes like their needs overrule my needs. And that's how introvert caregivers like.
But also, you're not
react.
talking about specifically caregivers that are doing it professionally. You can be a caregiver
Right.
in your own home.
Yes.
So maybe a caretaker mentality
Yeah.
should be,
Yeah.
so that you're not, because when I first listened to you, I'm thinking, okay, I'm not a teacher and I'm not a caretaker. Because I'm
Gotcha.
thinking somebody that works in medicine or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or cares for their family members or whatever. I thought it was a little limiting.
Gotcha. I understand.
But was that your intention to limit it a little bit, to start out smaller, or to more focused on a certain group?
It wasn't my intention to limit it, but it was my intention to focus specifically on those topics. Like when I'm building the journals, I'm focusing it on people who are like throwing their energy at other people instead of like rejuvenating their own stuff. So I won't say things specifically about a particular profession. It won't be about teaching or about nursing or about anything like that. But it will be about, hey, there are boundaries and you need to set them, and we need to make sure that these are the things you're taking care of first. And it's just very focused on people whose tendency is to share their energy without thinking about what that does to
So,
them personally.
would you consider changing the word caregivers to something that was more general, that was?
You got an idea?
Uh,
I worked on
energy givers?
Energy givers.
No,
Would that make sense if you didn't know what an energy giver?
no.
I think it would make sense
No.
to me, because an energy giver, I would say, if anybody was giving all their energy to somebody else, but yeah.
Yeah, but it sounds to me like I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Go ahead.
You know, that's a good idea for you. However, when you are promoting your program or something like that, and you're looking at SEO and terminologies that are familiar with everybody else, that's something that will be familiar with the majority versus the term that you was using. And the people that would relate to that,
Yeah.
they wouldn't think energy.
I get caregivers too, but again, like she says, they're thinking of people that do that professionally, and they don't always realize that they are a caregiver, you know,
Yes.
like I am. I have my brother, you know, older brother living with me, you know, and his daughter's a little bit special needs, so I am their caregiver. My daughter used to be a teacher, and she, you know, is now, you know, has children, and she's, you know, working, and she's now homeschooling too. So she's also a caregiver. She's going to probably be perfect for that. But I think that when you put caregivers, a lot of times people think of it as, you know, that profession, and not everybody realizes that they are a caregiver.
Yeah.
Even
I
said to her, aren't you a caregiver? When we're caring for our customers and not ourselves, you know.
and there you go.
Also, I think website design helps with that. Like, I don't know. So Podia can be a website for you, or you could create another website that links to it. So you could do websites and videos that describe what you mean by caregiver, and so it doesn't,
Yeah, I've got a video that.
it's more than a link to a website, you know what I mean? Like,
Janice is gonna go out of her mind if she doesn't get to answer
No,
that.
sorry.
No, this is really funny. It's going to help out with, I think, you made a comment that many people are introverts and don't know that they are. So I was just wondering, maybe I've seen different websites, or like for instance, health, they'll say, how do you know what body type you are? So maybe a survey at the beginning or something along those lines, saying, are you introvert, or are you a person who gives out a lot, or whatever? And then if they meet these criteria, then this may be something that could help you.
That
And
is
also-
awesome.
And also too, you could have this program here for introverts, and you can take the same concept and have a different program for different genres of people
Yeah.
That is
as
very
well
true.
too. Cause I do holistic health, so I have I'm working on a basic program, but then I'm gonna take that concept, then also add like women's health stuff in there,
That's really smart.
yeah.
I like it. And that kind
That's a great
of
idea.
solves the issue of the caregiver issue,
Yeah.
right? Like, I can try it with this terminology and then focus it on different ones for different memberships.
Right.
Yeah, nice.
You know, I think one of the other challenges though, and I can appreciate what you said, and I understand what she's saying as well, as this progresses, because we know it's gonna progress.
Right.
What will happen is, for instance, you're gonna have a ton of people who will want to funnel in here, and by using those terminologies, it's gonna help you for your target market, because I believe when you begin to share your opportunity, you talked about your target market, teachers and things like that, and that seemed to be your focus initially. So I can respect the fact that you're using terminology to caregiver and as your target market to stay focused, because the other thing is, because you're just building up, when you start getting over here and over there and over there, and that's a little bit later on down, I mean, it could be a part of your strategic plan, but right now, if this is your focus target market, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
That
each
makes
group is
sense.
gonna have a different specific set of needs.
Right.
Like teachers will probably need a little bit different needs than maybe a caregiver of somebody who's ill or something like that.
Well, and for example, like there are some programs for, heroes, and they don't and people always kind of think of firefighters or whatever, but it's also teachers, it's, like there's a program called Homes for Heroes, so eligible people are people that are teaching, people that are working in, you know, healthcare and stuff like that, so it's not just one thing, but a lot of people, when they first hear the word, they think of one thing.
Right.
And then you have to expand that. But like I said, my daughter who's homeschooling, was a teacher.
Yeah.
And she was, like I said, that's probably the ideal client, but, cause that's a challenge. you know.
Lacey has,
Because
she's
that's a
gonna read
caregiver
it.
and a, you
She's
know,
reading
and a
it.
teacher.
Right.
She
Okay.
probably might be an introvert too, you know.
I don't know, it's
Oh, she's the
contagious if I
trifecta.
gave it to you.
I don't know, you know, but yeah.
Please share this with her.
Okay, yeah,
We have that, yeah.
Yeah,
do you wanna
sorry,
put your
can I-
slide up
Can I
to,
really quickly, this is a link if you want to grab it. This is the beta test, starts on Monday. It's 2 weeks, you'll get access, to week 1, and then week 2, you'll get it on the Monday. And you can send this to absolutely anybody that you want to. I will take as many people as I can get in this beta test, just so that I can get that feedback.
yeah, absolutely.
So it's 2 weeks. I did put, and I apologize, I put $1 on there because I wanted to make sure that the credit card function would actually work before I got started. But then I put a coupon code, so it's a coupon code for $1. So I only need one person to pay me $1, just to make sure it works. And I realized now I could have just done that myself and made it much less confusing. See, hey, learning curve. But yeah, make sure they get the code. I'm not trying to charge anybody, I just wanted to make sure it worked. But yeah, this is it, and those are the topics for it and all that good stuff.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay.